Hey y'all, welcome back to our very bookish channel. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about all of the books that we are probably, possibly, or probably not gonna read in the month of July.
Hey guys, and welcome to July TBR. I have a ton of books on my July TBR, so I have a feeling I may not get to everything on my list, but a couple of the vlogs that we are doing in July, I am starting towards the end of June, so I figure I can put more books on because it's technically gonna get a head start on July. So to kick it off, we do have plans for Summerween, and what we're doing, because we're super excited about the arcs that we got for 3 authors. We have really enjoyed previous books. The first is my favorite, which is Alice Feeney, and it's orienting. Alice Feeney, Beautiful Ugly. It technically doesn't come out until January of next year, but both of us, she has a physical arc, I have the e-arc, and we are going to read it, one of 3 books for this Summerween special vlog. Second one is another favorite, and we just had talked about him in a recent vlog because I got autographed book plates from him, and that's Jason Rekulak, The Last One at the Wedding. And I'd show you the e-arc, but the e-arc doesn't have a picture of the cover, so we're just gonna go ahead and put it on the screen. And I'm super excited. I really loved Hidden Pictures. I think Amanda loved it as much as I did. And it is his 3rd book. I haven't read his first one, which was The Impossible Fortress. That one seemed more like fiction, nostalgia. I think it takes place in the 80s or is about the 80s or 90s. And Hidden Pictures was just super creepy, right up my alley with like a thriller, psychological thriller. And this one looks like it's going to be in the thriller vein again. So I'm super excited about that one. And then lastly, for the Summerween video, we are going to do J.H. Markert. He has written The Nightmare Man and Mr. Lullaby, and his newest one is called Sleep Tight. So we are going to be reading those 3. Amanda had the brilliant idea to do it for Summerween because all of them, I think especially Sleep Tight, looks like the creepiest of the 3 and is right up Summerween's avenue. So I'm really excited for those 3, and we're starting in June. We're going to wrap up, and Summerween technically starts July 5th and I think goes through like July 10th or something like that. So we're aiming to post during Summerween's week. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited.
So as you can see, I am not in my normal filming location. I am traveling and I do not have physical books with me. So I'm going to put a picture of the cover on the screen when I talk about the book. So that way you can see what book I'm talking about if you don't know by the title. And the first 3 books I'm going to talk about is a vlog that we're doing. We're going to post this vlog during Summerween, which is sometime between July 5th and July 11th. And this vlog is super exciting because Jen and I both have books that we are highly anticipating from authors that we have read before and loved, and we both were actually able to get a copy of the arcs. So the first book that I'm going to read for this vlog is The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulak. We both loved Hidden Pictures. I read Hidden Pictures for a vlog last year and loved that book. So we are highly anticipating The Last One at the Wedding and are looking forward to reading that one. The next one is another beloved author that we both love, J.H. Markert. He is coming out with a book called Sleep Tight, and we were both able to get our copies of his book, so we will be reading that book for a vlog. And the last book on the list for this vlog that's going to post during Summerween is a new author to me, but not new to Jen. I'm pretty sure Jen has read this author before, and that is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I have never read her books before. I am very interested in her books. I have her books on my want to read Goodreads list, but just have never got around to it. She has this book coming out in January, I believe, and I got a physical ARC from the publisher. So excited. So that will be the third and final book we're reading for our Summer Wing ARC reading blog.
Another one that I am really excited about reading is called After Oz. And as the cover may tell you, as well as the title, it is in the Wizard of Oz family. It's about Dorothy after she comes back from Oz. She is surrounded, just like in the movie, by everyone that they think she had dreamed based on who's around her. And she keeps insisting that everything that she experienced is real. At first, they think, okay, she just had a dream. She's just trying to shake it off. It was a very powerful, maybe even nightmare. She keeps insisting, though, that it was really, that she had really been there. And then the woman who is basically similar to the Wicked Witch of the East that is near her, like a older, an elderly woman, is found murdered. And they think Dorothy killed her because she's been insisting that Oz is real. They start to think that she is crazy. Something has just gone wrong with Dorothy. So they commit her to an insane asylum. And then there's a doctor that starts to help her and try to figure out, okay, what's going on. And what it sounds like is that she thinks Dorothy is telling the truth and almost goes to prove that Oz really exists. So I thought that was a very interesting concept. I'm a big fan of the film, and I actually never read the original Wizard of Oz. So I did get it, and I am going to read the original Wizard of Oz and then read After Oz. And I really think it'll be interesting because I've never read this, and I don't know how much the movie is similar to the book. But then I'm going to get a chance to read that book by, and I forgot to say his name. I know I had it on the screen. It's by Gordon McAlpine. So I am very much looking forward to reading those two in August. I actually want to start it so soon. I've been really wanting to read it, but I'm going to wait till after we do the Summer Ween episode.
The last reading vlog we are planning for July is going to be our Secret July TBR Pick. And this one's really exciting for us. We are going to theme our Secret July TBR Pick Little Free Library. So we tried to do a Little Free Library log in the past and it didn't quite work out. But we are going to try really hard again this summer. And we thought it would be super fun to vlog visiting some little free libraries, picking out some books, and then revealing which book we're going to read for the vlog from the books we picked from the little free libraries. So that'll be really exciting, and we hope you guys will come along with us on that adventure. I love visiting little free libraries. I think lots of people like seeing the little free libraries. They're so cute. They're all so very different and fun and have their own little different quirks and personalities, it feels like, with the different types of books in each one, or the different types of colors that each one is painted or shape. I've seen so many different shapes. So that'll be an adventure, and I'm really looking forward to filming that vlog for you guys.
As you guys know, every month we do a secret vlog, usually with a theme. And usually I have a book in this pouch, and as you can see, it's empty because we are going to be doing a vlog on little free libraries. And we've decided that after we hunt down several little free libraries, that we are going to choose one of those books that we find. And hopefully I have more luck than I have in the past. I mean, if you guys have been watching our videos, I have tried several times now with little free libraries, and I use the app, and I guess you can show the app here, the little free library app. If you guys are interested, you can download the app. It shows you all the little free libraries that are in your area, and you can travel around. But sometimes, I gotta warn you, sometimes what I have found is that they're not always there. So I don't know how maintained that app is, or if the information is ever corrected, if someone should take it down. Also, I have found ones that aren't really maintained or cared for, There have been a couple here near me. I found out that when I went, it had signs that says it was being heavily monitored and had video recording like 24/7. And I found out from a couple people at work who live in that area, they had been vandalized and like someone came and stole the whole little free library, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know what I'm going to find in trying to look for little free libraries. The ones I did find that were really beautifully made, obviously well taken care of, were a majority kids book. So if it comes to it, I'm just going to read a kids book so that we can show you all the little free libraries around each of us. We've been wanting to do a vlog strictly in little free libraries now for over a year. So we're finally going to get a chance to do that in July. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to try in July. I wasn't trying to rhyme right then.
Other books that I hope to read that are not included in vlogs. I have a whole list of arcs that I have access to that I have not read yet that are coming out soon that I want to read. And the first book that I want to read when I get a chance is The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. So in case you missed our vlog last year, Jen got me a sprayed edge edition of The Wishing Game, and we read it for a vlog, and we both loved that book. It was super fun, super whimsical, just very wholesome, just a very fun, quick read, and we are both really excited for The Lost Story that's coming out. And I do want to get that read before it comes out. It comes out on July 16th, so I'm really hoping to have some time to get that book read and reviewed before it comes out, or possibly Jen and I might try to squeeze a reading vlog in with that book if we can, because we did do a full reading vlog for The Wishing Game. So we will see. We'll see what happens with that. We're not trying to overload our plate with vlogs, but there are just so many good books that we want to read and vlog for you guys. But that's definitely one of them that I hope to get to in the month of July.
Another one that I had mentioned in the most anticipated video that we did for July and August is called Look in the Mirror by Catherine Steadman, and it's going to be a paperback coming out at the end of July. This one is about Nina, and her father leaves her a dream vacation home in the British Virgin Islands. It's state-of-the-art and all glass and marble. And the way it described it is that she didn't know this ever existed. There's a part of her father's life she found out that she may not have known. And it had the tagline of, "What will she find in the basement?" And God knows what that means. But the cover felt kind of interesting. And the description of the book just made it sound really good. So when I was looking at most anticipated, I decided that one is one I really want to try reading. So I have the e-arc and I plan on reading that in July.
The next book I want to get to in the month of July is called The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. And this book seemed super interesting to me. It's fantasy, and y'all know I love fantasy books. And this book is about a young woman who is growing up in an abusive household. Her father's abusive. Her father is an opium addict, and he gets a letter stating that they're forcing him to join the army, and he doesn't want to because 3 realms are at war and they need soldiers, so they did a draft and he got drawn, and he is refusing to go. Also, to help with their money problems from his gambling and opium addiction, he decides he's going to marry off his daughter, and she discovers that the man she's supposed to be married is also very abusive and hateful, and she just decides she cannot go from this household with a very abusive father into a household with an abusive husband. She said, I just can't do it. So she comes up with this plan to enlist in the army as her father. So she's going to answer his draft call for him and pretend to be a boy and enter in the army. That just sounds so interesting and fun, and I can't wait to read. I can't wait to read about all her adventures that she goes on. The final book I'm going to put on my TBR is a book that I've already started reading, but I've had to set aside in order to have time to read other books for vlogs, and that is called 5 Broken Blades by Mia Cortland. I am about 30% into this book, and I'm really enjoying it, but I had to sort of pause reading it and set it aside in order to make time to read other books that I needed to get vlogs out for. So I'm really excited to pick that book back up. It is generally about about 5 assassins that have a common goal of taking out a current ruler. And once they take out this ruler, assuming that they do, I don't know that they do, but once this ruler is presumably gone, then they have to try to figure out who is going to take over and rule. Only one of them can rule. So I feel like it's going to be a very like backstabby, fun, assassin type book. And so far it's been really good, but I haven't got very far, and I've had to pause reading it. So I'm really looking forward to picking that book back up in July and finishing it out.
July. And I have a bunch of paper arcs that I really want to read, and I'm having a hard time figuring out which one I am going to read in July. So I'm just going to show you the ones that I feel are the most likely candidates that I'm going to read. First one is called All This and More by Pang Shepard. This one is, if you had watched our most anticipated for July and August, I go through all of these in that video too. But this one is an adult choose your own adventure. So I'm sure you guys remember those books have been around forever and in constant reprint, but at the end of certain chapters, it will tell you to either go to page 57 to choose one way, one path, or go to 112 to choose the other path. And this is set up that way for adults, for this woman to choose what you want her to do in her life. It just sounded really out of the ordinary, so I wanted to try it. It just caught my interest, so I definitely feel like this one is going to be a must read for July. This one I just happened to get right before we had filmed the most anticipated for July and August, and on the back is a snippet from Sally Hepworth, who is one of my favorite authors, and she said, "Utterly addictive and deliciously dark, this is Downs' best book yet." I have not read Anna Downs. I keep wanting to say Anne Downs, but it's Anna Downs. But this one is about a missing sister, and she goes in search of her missing sister, and she ends up finding someone who is supposedly going to help her, but there's a past with that person, and most likely that person is going to end up some way, shape, or form going to be involved in her sister's disappearance, I'm thinking. So this one probably going to be another one that I end up reading in July. One of the other reasons why I have a fair amount on my July pile is this one is kind of thin. So I have a feeling none of these are really that many pages. So I have a feeling I'm going to get it through a bunch. But this one is called Things Don't Break on Their Own by Sarah Easter Collins. And what's funny is it's also about a missing sister. And she feels intuition-wise that her sister is not dead, even though after her sister disappeared, when they were going to school one day, everyone thinks that she probably was murdered or she's just not alive anymore. But she feels she knows her sister is alive. It says it's told through alternating perspectives, and the author Amy Tintera, who I just read Listen for the Lie, I really like that book. It is a good one. I'm going to be going over it when we do a recap for May and June. But she has a clip on the back of this saying, "Engrossing novel filled with characters I can't stop thinking about. Not just an absorbing mystery, but a heartfelt exploration of family and memory. I enjoyed it so much I didn't want it to end." So sometimes, as I said in the past, the little blurbs on here aren't always correct. But I still sometimes get sucked in by the descriptions, or if there is one of my favorite authors saying how much they loved it, I end up getting sucked into at least trying it. So that one most likely will get put on my July must-read list. And this one may end up getting pushed to August. I don't know. It's not very descriptive on the back. I had talked about this one again in the most anticipated that we did for July and August, The Madness by Don Krutagich. And the cover alone just seemed really like spooky and mysterious, and it just gave me, yes, I'm judging a book by its cover, Amanda should be proud, but the description I feel is very generic. But I don't always like descriptions, as I just said. Sometimes I get sucked in by those. Sometimes I just get a vibe on a book and I feel like I have to try it. It doesn't always work out, because I guess that's why they say don't judge a book by its cover. So I am going to give this one a chance. It may not be July though, it may end up in August.
So the next vlog we're doing is we are going to pick a most anticipated read from our most anticipated read TBR jars. And this one's really exciting because this is the first vlog that we will have new additions to the jar. We just put out our most anticipated releases for July and August. So we will be adding those books to the jar, and we will be picking out a book. But this could be any book from any of our most anticipated videos that we have produced in the past. Any of the books on that list that we haven't read yet, we put into the jar, and we're going to pick one every other month when we're not posting a most anticipated video to help read some of those titles down that we want to read but haven't got to yet. So very excited about that one.
And lastly, it is time to pick a most anticipated book out of the TBR jar. We usually do these in the months that we aren't releasing a most anticipated video, just to read one of the books. And I know I put some in here that I have either already read or I might already have on my list. So let's see which one I'm gonna get once I pick it. I guess I should shake it a little bit, even though it doesn't matter. It's not like I know what any of these are. All right. Target is acquired, and I did tape these pretty good so they wouldn't unravel. All right, so I got, and I already read it, so I read Rabbit Hole last month or early this month. I can't remember what it was, so I need to choose again. At least I got it out of there. New Target. Wow, I really taped this one. A Step Past Darkness by Vera Kurian. I'm not remembering what this one is. I feel like I own it, but I'm not seeing it on the shelf over there. So I am going to have to look it up and see if I have it in one of my many piles of books, as I'm constantly moving my piles of books around as I read them. And I don't always keep them, just because if I didn't really like it, I feel like, why am I keeping it? So I usually sell it either at Half Price Books or at Second and Charles to get credit to buy more books. So I will see if I still have it somewhere. Otherwise, I'm sure I can get it. I don't know. I didn't put the date. Amanda was very smart about putting which most anticipated it was on. I'm thinking it has to already be out because I didn't put the books in here that aren't out yet. I'm thinking that I should be able to get it in some way, shape, or form if I can't find it, if I own it. So I do have a hefty amount for July. I actually have been reading at a pretty good clip ever since the beginning of the year. I'm sure it'll slow down even more as I get closer to holiday, and I am very hopeful this summer at least I'll get a bunch done. And I already hit my 50 books for the year. I thought it was kind of crazy that I felt like I got to it quick, and last year I was getting to 50 just in nick of time at the end of the year. But this year, I mean, Frida McFadden always helps. Those books go very, very quick. And I've been reading a couple that were just easy to read. So I think that has a lot to do with how quickly you can get books done. As if they're not very long, you can get them really quick. But I've just been loving all the books that I've been finding this year. So I think that also is very helpful for getting a lot of books read for a year. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to sharing the videos we have planned for July. And until next time.